In commemoration of the 57th independence of Nigeria on the 2nd of October 2017, the brightest and the best political minds and leaders will gather together at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in a conference themed Which Way Nigeria. This conference is organized by the Partnership for a New Nigeria in conjunction with Project Nigeria Movement. Guest and notable speakers include LADI THOMPSON.
Reverend LADI THOMPSON is a founder, senior pastor of Lagos-based Living Waters Unlimited Church and the international coordinator of Macedonia Initiative, a non-governmental, non-denominational organization established to provide succor to Christians persecuted because of their belief in Jesus Christ. Lately, the security consultant has assumed the office of a special advisor to the former national president of Christian Association of Nigeria, PFANN, on anti-terrorism and security matters. And today we have the singular honor and pleasure of listening to him as he talks to us from culture to the future. Reverend LADI THOMPSON, everybody.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. And the people who will put things out. It's also the similar reason for which I am not only good friends with him, I'm also very good friends with the now Vice President of Nigeria, but when he was Attorney General of Lagos State, I watched him take corruption. Lagos State, where you could get an armed robber to be free for 3 million naira. Watch him take corruption down from 90-something% to 6% in his first term. So there are people amongst the elite that we need who will help to work out the future of Nigeria. And our beloved Elishama herself is also an elite. Yes, that's why we say that at the end of the day, leaders don't complain. They get going. So you will permit me in the next few minutes, I always tell people that I've seen too much bloodshed for, I'm not 60 yet, I'm a few years to 60, I've seen too much bloodshed in Nigeria to have time to play games with people. The poverty that people theorize about, the things that people can afford to talk about and then go back home and, you know, life continues. You don't want to see the kind of things I've seen. I will never forget Reverend Adewale showed me, he said, look at what they did to my son, his only son, 21 years old, was butchered. Pieces. So you allow me to be a person who looks for solutions. So we're going to be talking about the acculturation of the future. Don't forget about all that big English, just follow me in the next few minutes. Let me see how much I can get across to you. We decoded a mystery in 2016, but we're going to be talking about it in 2017. And acculturation, as you can see on your board there, is the process of social, psychological, and cultural change that stems from blending between cultures, when you have many cultures coming together. Now, why do I say mystery decoded? Let me tell you something. All of us said it is incontestable that the British not only made Nigeria, but also handed it to us whole on their surrender of power. But the Nigeria which they handed over to us had in it the forces of its own disintegration. So what you heard Governor Duke, as a reiterated and spoke about the history of Nigeria, he was right. But this is 1968, when Obafemi was telling you that the Nigeria that was handed over had inside it hand grenades. It had inside it devices that were capable of destroying the nation from within. And I will tell you that Obafemi was nobody's fool. And he said something, he said it's up to the contemporary leaders, Nigerian leaders, to neutralize these forces, preserve the Nigerian inheritance, and to make all our people free, forward-looking, and prosperous. This is quoted from the People's Republic in 1968. Now listen to me. Whatever is happening today in Nigeria should not be a surprise to any thinking people. It can only be a surprise to people who don't think. In 1968, you were told that the country that was handed over to us had inside its core enough to destroy it. And we were told that except leadership rose to the occasion, those forces we think would explode it. Now, I'm here to talk to you about those forces because we're talking about how to look to the future. But let me say this first of all. In 1964, Dr. Elishama said, it is better for us and many admirers abroad that we should not disintegrate. Now we should disintegrate in peace and not in pieces. Should the politicians fail to heed this warning, I will venture the prediction that the experience of the Democratic Republic of Congo will be child's play to the explosion, or shall we say implosion, or meltdown of Nigeria. Don't forget that Abubakar Tafawa Balewa in 1948 also made a comment. He said, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs and customs, and do not show themselves any signs or willingness to unite. Nigerian unity is only a British invention. Now that was in 1948, so we can see that by 1968, a lot of the leadership had changed their mind, because Obafemi Awolowo also in 1947 did say that Nigeria was a mere geographical expression. But by 1968, he had been better educated, and what he had observed was that, look, we've gotten the country all right, but there's something inside what was given to us that can destroy what was given to us. And he pointed out that if leadership did not arise to handle those explosives, what is beginning to happen now was always inevitable. So I don't see why anybody who is thinking right should be surprised. Now, I would like to say this because I want to move quickly. If ever Nigeria is going to survive, if ever we're ever going to become who we are meant to be, the foremost nation of Africa, there's one single thing that has been missing in the political space that I have been researching for about 25 to 30 years. And I dare tell anybody that until Nigeria understands in its leadership ranks, until Nigeria begins to understand programming, there is no hope for Africa's most populous nation. Programming. Now, what is programming? Let me say to you first of all that God is a programmer. If you don't understand programming, anywhere you see patterns, predictabilities, consistencies, interactivities, interdependencies, intricacies, and rhythmic motion. You see, God does not wake up every morning to tell the sun to rise. God programs the sun to rise. You see, no matter your skin color, once you eat food, the digestive system inside you is programmed to break down the food and eliminate waste. Every person sitting here, inside you have a set of lungs that takes in air, absorbs oxygen, and expels carbon dioxide. Now, in this sense, God himself is a programmer. And what God did was that he gave man the opportunity to also be a programmer within certain ambits. So when a man is a real man, he also has the power to program. Now, the golden rule of programming from God from the beginning was that man should not program man negatively. But whether you like it or not, some people crossed that line a long time ago. And until Nigerian leadership understands, Nigeria is a product of failure engineering. Which means what? It was designed from the beginning to fail. Now, what you need to do is to understand that what we're doing here, you need to understand simple things like chaos theory. What is chaos theory? Chaos theory is studying how you move from a state of order into disorder. And I have two examples I'm going to use to show you, and I prefer the millennials now because I'm worried about the older people, whether they can, get some of these things right. Now, if we're ever going to sort Nigeria out, there are some things you need to understand. This toy, I remember when I was in secondary school in the 1970s. I think it was released in 1970 something. The Rubik's Cube. This Rubik's Cube, I can bet you, if you've never handled one before, I can hand it over to you. And normally all the colors are the same on the 6 sides of the cube. Once you distort it, to bring it back to harmony, I can give you this cube and I can assure you that if nobody gives you the cheats,
to explain anything to you. You will try to resolve this skill from today till the day you die. Hand it over to your son. Who will hand it over to his son? Who will hand it over for 7 generations? And your family will never be able to put this skill back together again. Not because you are dumb, but because this skill was designed based on failure engineering. Professor Willie. Why? The moment you distort this skill, as easy as it looks, it has 43 quintillion options. So the moment you try to put it right, you make it even more wrong. Now listen to the catch now. 7 generations can solve the cube. Yet, if you call a young man of average intelligence and teach him 5 algorithms, he will solve this cube in 7 minutes. Nigeria is a product of failure engineering. I'll break that down a little bit before we close.
Hausa enculturation, Fulani enculturation, but Hausa Fulani transportation, which is how you produce a Hausa Fulani person, if any such thing exists. Now, what you call Boko Haram radicalism is also a transportation program. You bring in the first culture. What you call the headsmen, in the headsmen transportation program, in 1821, Ajayi Crowther was kidnapped by headsmen. So these are challenges that precede and predate Nigeria. So as long as you want to wander around in the wilderness, you are emotive, you are intuitive, you are unscientific, and the way you think, does not seek out the algorithms that will solve Nigeria, you will make noise and go to your graves the way those who came before you did. So the Almajiri, I was in Kaduna one evening, and I remember calling some Almajiri boys. I probably have invested more of my life in northern Nigeria than southern Nigeria. And I remember looking at those boys and I was asking myself, who's going to care for these boys? Who? Because I want to ask us at the end of the day, which is the question I asked Nnamdi Kanu when he first started his activities. I wanted to know what is the difference between the average Igbo boy who is decentralized, or whatever it is called. Call it for me again.
These child.
Thank you. Now, tell me the difference between the life of the Almajiri boy, the Igbo boy, the Yoruba boy, and you name it across this nation. In Benue, the TV boy. There's a whole generation of young people who have been set aside completely. Now, some people at the top, still obeying the equation that produced Nigeria, don't understand that the corruption they're talking about in Nigeria is not a crime anymore, it's a culture. And what produces a culture is a program. It's called an enculturation program. So as long as you ignore a program that produces a Nigeria, a corrupt program will continue to produce corrupt people. W.E.B. Du Bois died in Ghana. He was the first African American to have a doctorate degree from Harvard University. The continuous failure of Nigeria is also what? Unnatural. And it's just because we don't understand the power of programming. Let me borrow you for a minute. Let me just demonstrate programming. Just come on for a minute. We'll be out of here in a few minutes. I know at the end of the day, wisdom must prevail if Nigeria is to make it. We are programmed to fight one another. This was when I wrote to Kanu, I asked him that question and I was getting to understand something. Listen, at the end of the day, the people who programmed us, we are going to go back and meet them again for help. And then they will enforce the programming further.
Yes.
And Nigeria will continue in bondage. 1895, Rwanda was a nation that had only one language and one tribe. No tribes really. When von Blotzer arrived in Rwanda, in a short time he created the Tutsis and the Hutus. I was in Rwanda. I've had meetings in Rwanda and done a lot of research. And I tell you something, when the Germans started this, the Rwandans were wondering, why are you dividing us? Do you know how they defined a Tutsi? Original definition was it had 10 cows and more were a Tutsi. If you had less than 10 cows, you were a Hutu. So initially you could start your year as a Hutu, prosper and become a
Tutsi. But for you to know that this formula, I can't go to this formula right now, it's too well researched. You won't find it open in any university. I'm praying that Nigeria will be one of the first to have a university that will study video engineering and present it properly for Africa. You won't find it anywhere. Now, when they started out and you could change in between, it's a formula well known to oppressor nations. By the time Germany lost the First World War and handed over Rwanda to the Belgians, 1933, they introduced ID cards. By then, you could no longer cross over from being a Tutsi to become a Tutsi. So what did they need to do? Engineer enmities amongst them, bone animosity. These are people who till today speak only one language. Till today. But you know the interesting thing? The first president of Rwanda, Rebecca Kayibanda, when he became president, he said, the Tutsis and Hutus are two different people between whom there is no relationship whatsoever than like people who come from two different planets. By the time the engineered hatred between them was filled, they had started slaughtering one another. By 1994, 1.2 million were slaughtered in 100 days. The great-grandchildren of the people who introduced the divisions now came back to Rwanda to proclaim that it was a genocide. But really, it was just an organized crime with a time-release capsule. In Southeastern Nigeria, you may not remember when they tried to introduce red captives. The divide and rule that was put into this country, there are many nodes of chaos theory recognizable in Nigeria. So when Southeast comes up and says this, Southwest says that, the North does this, we don't realize we are just victims of what? Failure engineering. No, hold on. I want to show you the power of programming. Take your right hand and draw a clockwise circle in the air. Raise your right leg and draw it. No. Yes, you can do that. Same direction. Now stop. Trace clockwise with your right hand and go anti-clockwise with your right leg. Try it. You see, this half of the body is programmed by God to function in sync. So anybody who thinks that prayer and fasting can overcome programming will pray and fast for 100 years and jump off this one and find out that the principle or the program of gravity will pull you to the ground. Thank you very much. So what have I learned to you? Speaking English, phoneticized English, in a greater quantum than even when the colonials were around. They may have left in 1960, but they left something behind inside all of us. An inferiority complex that is so deeply buried that we don't even recognize that we are a product of failure engineering anymore. In northern Nigeria, it's a mix as deliberate. Think like Arabs, just like Arabs, copy Arabs, do everything. And then somebody came and mixed the two together. So what is the solution? Let me just cut the chase and just give you a few things before I go. So I wrote a position on Sharia banking the other day. Christian leaders were surprised. I said, why is everybody wasting their time shouting about Sharia banking? Did anybody pursue that? After all the things in the days of the Prophet Muhammad, there was no Sharia banking. It was some clerics have done the research, who invented it. So why are you making noise? Since a lot of the scriptures they use for Sharia banking comes from Moses, the prophet, which is in the Bible, which precedes the Quran. So why don't you give us another kind of banking with a lower interest rate or no interest rate with debt forgiveness every 50 years? Why don't you design that and bring it to the table instead of rabble housing, making noise and then discomfiting everybody? Now, what am I trying to point out? Nigeria needs what we call algorithms. Let me just say a few things and just stop. All the hatreds, the people who put us together, they understand what is happening to us right now.
They do.
And they will continue to fear it, continue to come and judge us. Our inferiorities will continue to be buried so deep. We will keep running around in circles. We will keep shedding human blood in Nigeria just because we don't understand that we are products of the program. Thank you.